Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. This is the Tier 1 event here at Melbourne, Australia. Round 4 takes us here. Tom Cairns in the commentary box giving you the details for tonight's showing. We've got 18 drivers in the lobby raring to go for the first part of qualifying. With there being 18 drivers, we'll lose the slowest 3 at the end of Q1. For the next 5 get eliminated at the end of Q2, and then the top 10 battling out for pole position in Q3. After qualifying, it'll be a 29-lap Australian Grand Prix. And given what we've seen in previous weeks, we've got a few of those who would be around tonight are not around, including the championship leader, Dixon, who, for whatever reason, wasn't able to make it. Rome's Republic also not around, and neither is Malios. So we'll run through who has substituted for who as well, whilst we wait for some cars to make their way out onto the racetrack. So we look at Safdar, who is in the Williams in place of Dixon. And looking further down, I think Therese, I can't remember if Therese is, Therese in fact is a full-time driver at Alpine, so we'll come away from him. Davidosh is in the AlphaTauri in place of Rome's Republic. I think that's it for now. So just those 2 reserves being called in. We have got a car out on circuit. I'm just looking to see who that actually is. And it's actually Jack DNF, who's hoping for a decent result tonight. Looking at where he ended up last week in Azerbaijan, he didn't actually make it to the end of that one. He didn't even finish the first race either, I don't believe. And look at the championship standings as it is. So Jack DNF has in fact yet to score a point, as well as Pimis. Those 2 full-time drivers have yet to get off the mark. So if you have joined us, do make sure you like and subscribe in case you haven't already done so. And from what I've been told by Jack Berry, JB Berry, otherwise known as, who is one of the drivers involved in the action in the Haas, I've just been informed it will be a full wet race later on. So we will expect drivers to go onto the soft compound in Q2. Some may even try and get through to Q3 on the mediums just to save a set of softs. But we'll have to see later on. I think we're going to see quite a number trying to get through on the mediums actually, so it saves a set of soft tyres later on. But we'll wait and see as the session thickens. We've got a Ferrari coming round the last turn. Jack DNF has decided to go back in the pits. I don't know if he's on a quali ban, if I'm honest with you, because he's just retired from the session. So the stewards concluded that Jack DNF had, in terms of the incident in Baku, you can see Safdar has also decided to opt out of qualifying. And Dan Murphy, unsurprisingly, has done the same. So I think this could end up being a dead rubber Q1 session, because there's only 18 involved and 3 have already retired from the session already. And Jack DNF, in terms of the conclusion involving him in Baku, Jack had a lack of awareness. And not sure how they haven't spotted the car approach him, according to the stewards. So and William crossing over the line with 1:22.6. It's a decent first lap time. Here is Becco in the Alpine, Wasn't around last week, I don't believe. He's hoping for a decent showing. So far this season in regards to points, he's only picked up a couple. He's crossing over the line to clock his first lap time, 1 minute 23.2, which puts him just under 6/10 away from Williams' fastest time so far. Plymouth over the line, goes P2 as well, 1 minute 22.6, and 15 thousandths of a second slower than the Ferrari. Big Boss Wells is on an invalidated lap. Wild Dog over the line for Mercedes, 1:24.0. Got Terades, who's coming round towards turn 11. Big Boss Wells going for another run. So we'll stay with Terades for now. So Terades come around the last corner, rear wing open. And it's a 1:23.1, goes P3 with that. And that sounded like a Mercedes going into the wall there. That may have been Wild Dog who's just backed off the pace. There's Mikey. Eager to get his first lap on the board without making contact with the wall or anything like that. He's got his teammate ahead of him who want to make sure he stays out of the way. So he comes around now to start or complete this lap. It's a 1 minute 21.8 that puts him to the top by nearly 0.8 of a second. Just looking to see who else is on a fast lap right now. Well, Big Boss Wells has posted his first lap time on the mediums. We'll go to Berry here because he's on a flying lap on the mediums. No, dropping it there. This is where he crashed out last season, which cost him a points finish. Had he completed one more lap than he did on that day, he would have collected points even if he didn't make it to the checker flag. So Berry with the rear wing open. 1 minute 24.1, it goes P11 with that lap time. Here's Swinney, previously known as Winfield, missed last week. He's back tonight, hoping for a decent showing. Crosses over the line for 1:23.8, which puts him only 9th right now. Here's Davidosh in the AlphaTauri, aiming to get his first lap on, well, his first decent time, 1 minute 23.7, and he goes into P7. Now, my Leo's is around tonight. I didn't think he was, but remarkably he is. So I'll take my word back for what I said earlier. It's a 1:25.7 for that first effort, which I don't think is as quick as we had hoped. It looks like he's going to go for another attempt. We'll see what his first set time is like. And Wild Dog has retired from the session. And that's a Liverpool fan who I think is just... I think he's slowing down. I hope he hasn't got damage to his front wing there, judging by the way he's slowing down. You can see more drivers retiring from the session now. They know that they don't need to be going out for another lap. Well, Plymouth decides otherwise. Just looking to see who else is on a flying up for the moment. Well, Scenario's coming through sector 1. He's going a 10 faster than he did so last time. And that's Liverpool fan trailing round on the circuit. Didn't see what the lap time was there for Scenario going into sector 2. It's looking fairly decent so far by the looks of it. As he enters turn 15. He was a 10th up by sector 2. Watching back on the stream. He's going over the line now. And he's 4 tenths up from before. So he managed to find some time in the last sector. And he goes up to 7th place. And Plymouth needs to be careful not to be parking the car, because otherwise that could end up disqualifying him from qualifying. Well, Berry is a 10th up by sector 1 from before. Through sector 2, he's still a 10th up. Carlos Killer going up to 6th place with 1:23.5. He's coming towards the last couple of turns now. Berry looking to move up a position or two. And he goes up to 6th place with a 1:23.3. So he managed to find a few more tenths in the last sector. Big Boss Bells coming through in the Ferrari. This is a good opportunity to close down that 41-point lead behind Dixon in the championship table. He improves to 8th in Q1. I don't know if Berry is going for another run. I don't think he will do, but let's see what his time's like. He's nearly 4 tenths down from before. Here's Davidosh in the AlphaTauri. Only 4 drivers, I think, on circuit. No, make that 3. It's just 3 drivers out on circuit. Berry's just done his fast lap. Although Big Boss Bells is on a fast lap through sector 1 from before, so we'll stay with him. Malios has just come out of the pits on his medium compound. It's a 10th up from before through sector 2 for Big Boss Bells, so he could displace Carlos Killer. So entering the last turn now. And he goes up to 6th place with that time. So Big Boss Bells should think about maybe coming back into the pits now. It doesn't need to be doing any more running in this session. Davidosh coming into sector 2 and the 7,000th of a second up from before. Into turn 15 and 16. Oh, he's gone too far out wide into the last turn, you can tell. Don't think he's going to improve on this one. He does so by a couple of tenths. There's definitely more time to be found though. We'll go to Mario's next. He's on the soft compound tyre. Clearly fancying a run. And the closing minutes of Q1. Terade's coming and saying, I love rain. Well, the rain is there to sort of spice things up a little bit, if not a lot. And Mario's 1.5 seconds up from before that he had posted on the mediums by sector 2. And rear wing open. There's a 122.6, and that puts him up to 4th place. Scenario's just gone for a bit of a spin by the looks of it. And stays out of the way of Mario's behind. And Scenario's just playing around now. This is just getting silly. And no, this is not on from Scenario at all. To be honest, he didn't even need to be out on the circuit after the lap time he had posted earlier. And Becco is on the flying lap in the Alpine, looking to improve on his 6th place he'd set on the soft compound. He's nearly 3/10 down from before. So Becco into sector 2. It's nearly 4/10 down from before, so he's definitely not improving by the looks of it on this lap. Scenario stays out of the way. Becco over the line. It's a 1:23.7. That would put him 11th on the timesheets. But it's a 1:23.2 he'd set on the softs. So we're into the last minute now. Oh, and Becco, keep out of the wall, please. So Q1 ends with Jack, Safdar and Murphy all eliminated from qualifying. You just wait for the classification to come up. Once Becco either ducks into the pits or just crosses over the line, and that should signal the end of the session. So Q1 ends as Becco falls off the road. So Mikey, otherwise known as SpongeBob on the graphic, is fastest, but we lose Jack, Safdar and Murphy from Q1. We'll be back for Q2 very shortly. Q2 begins. Now there's got a Mercedes heading out on circuit. That is Wild Dog, who's behind one of the Alpines, which is Becco. For some reason the camera angle is not moving us towards the action. There we go. Look, Pimis is out on circuit behind the Alpine and the Mercedes. Just hope they don't trip up on each other whilst they're on fast laps. It's the fourth round of the season. After Australia, we go to France, and then Singapore on the 14th of December, and then Russia on the 21st, before we take a 2-week break for Christmas, and then return in the new year on the 4th of January for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and then Austria on the 11th, Belgium on the 18th, and Abu Dhabi on the 25th. And we've got 2 more rounds to go after that. Bahrain on the 1st of February, and the season finale will be in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on the 8th of that month. Well, Becco's just started a flying lap now in the Alpine. There are 12 cars on the racetrack currently. Made that 13 because Liverpool fans just come out. Becco hoping for a decent performance here today. Through sets of 1, it's a 27-4. Now, for your information, this is the configuration of what Formula 1 used back in 2019, whilst the ongoing restructuring goes on in Melbourne, with the circuit at Albert Park should be in for the F1 2022 game cycle. So it should be quite fun when it comes around to racing on that new configuration. We are hoping Formula 1 will be racing in Melbourne on the scheduled date of April the 10th, providing travel restrictions within the country of Australia on to Sevilla. As Becco goes over the line, 1 minute 22.9. That was better than what he posted earlier on, I think. Pimis over the line for the best lap time so far, 1:22.1. That's a very good lap time there from Pimis. Better than expected, quite frankly. Davido's third at the moment, 1:22.6. Big Boss Bell's going to the top with 1:22 dead. Here's Warrior Huntsman in the McLaren. Now, Warrior Huntsman, don't think he was around last week. He's crossed over the line to go 6th with a 1:24.1. At least he's faster than William, who's posted his time on the mediums as well, 1:24.7 for him. Mikey over the line in the Mercedes. It's a 1:22.3. Less than 3/10 off the fastest time. But it's not the fastest that we're looking for in Q2. It's to lose the slowest 5. Now, Liverpool fan had set the slowest time out of all those in Q1. 49.7 by sector 2 for the man from Birmingham. Pimis posting a 1:21.9, so he does improve and goes to the top. So Pimis showing some good pace so far in qualifying, it has to be said. Liverpool fan hoping to join him up there. (1:22.6), and it's good enough to put him up to 4th, so a decent effort there from Bruce Milio's in the Red Bull with the DRS open onto the pit straight. 1 minute 22.5, and that displaces Liverpool fan. Milio's goes fourth quickest. Here's Swinney. Rear wing open. On this back straight, there are 3 DRS zones on this circuit. One in the pit straight, one in between turns 2 and 3, and the other in between turns 12 and 13. Swinney with the DRS open. Spinning out of his DRS on this lap. He's crossing over the line anyway. 1 minute 22.5 puts him up to 5th place for now. Here's Jack Berry entering the last. He got a kick of wheel spin on the exit of the penultimate turn. That won't help. It's a 1:22.8, and he only goes 10th with that. He's lost time in the last sector. He may decide to go for another attempt. Scenario has exceeded shot limits on his latest lap, so it'll be another lap at least before he gets the lap time on the board. Big Boss Bells has retired from the session. He should be back for Q3 though. That should be a quick enough time to see him through. Malios goes 3rd fastest with a 1:22.2. So the track is continuing to evolve by the looks of things. So those in the bottom 5, they are Terades, Carlos Hiller, Warrior Huntsman, William, and Scenario. 12 of those who have set lap times have been on the soft compound. Warrior Huntsman and William, the only ones to have set their times on the mediums. Just looking to see who is starting a flying lap. Well, Scenario is coming around to start a lap now, so we may as well stay with him, since that nobody else is on a flying lap. Got over 7 minutes remaining in Q2. So Scenario braking for turn 9 through 10. It's a 49.9 for the AlphaTauri pilot. Now it's coming towards turn 13. Rear wing open for Scenario over the line. It's a 1:23.0, only 11th for him. So there's definitely more time to be found. Terades is on a much better lap time. He gets himself out, does he? No, he doesn't. Only goes 11th. So he must have lost a lot of time in the last sector. Going again by the looks of it. Is Scenario going for another lap? Well, he's coming into sector 1 now. And he's a 10th down from before, so not an improvement at the moment. Mikey's also on a flying lap. And Scenario's exceeded shut limits on his latest lap, so he may as well come away from him. William, meanwhile, I don't think he's on a fast lap, is he? No, he's not, because the ERS is not even using that. I think he's using his lap to burn off some fuel. Well, Mikey's continuing on his side. Liverpool fan has decided to retire from the session. And that'll be Williams just backing off, actually, to make sure he stays out of all the other drivers' way. Terades has exceeded shut limits. And Mikey in the Mercedes. William struggling to get out of the way there. Not what on earth was he doing there for? I think he just missed the pit entry and then coming back into the pit lane. I think he felt that he wasn't going to have enough time to get round, get the set of softs on before the checker flag had fallen. Now Warrior Huntsman, he's in need of a better lap here. 6 tenths up from before. Even that won't be enough to get him out of the bottom 5. He's crossed into the barrier. And remarkably, only the front wing has fallen off. But I'd imagine other parts of the car will be damaged as well. So that could signal the end of Warrior Huntsman's qualifying session. Becco's gone quicker than last time, nearly 3 tenths up from before. He goes 5th. Here's Berry at risk of elimination. 10th fastest. He was a 10th up by sector 1 from before. How is he getting on through sector 2? 3 tenths up from before. This is looking good here for Jack. Mercedes staying out of the way. If he keeps going here, he could get into a 1 minute 22.5, which would be very ideal. Find any more time in the last sector, and that will be a bonus. Coming onto the pit straight then for Jack. Over the line, and it's a 1:22.3. So he does go 5th fastest. That's a great effort there from Berry. Now Becco. Don't think he's on a quicker lap than before, is he? Doesn't look like he is. No, he's not. So he's just backing out of that one. We'll go to Carlos Killer. We've not seen any of him throughout this qualifying session, so we'll go to him now. He's currently 13th on a 1:23.2. It'll be interesting to know which drivers have gone for a wet setup and which have gone for a dry setup, or in between the two. Because it is going to be a wet race later, and once the cars leave the pits for qualifying, they are under parc fermé rules, which basically means most of what you've set your car up for cannot be altered. What can be altered is front downforce, tyres, and of course front wing damage. Well, Carlos Killer in the Aston Martin. Didn't see whether he was improving through sector 2. He's down ever so slightly, so I'm not sure if he's going to improve. Well, he's not going to improve anyway because he's exceeded track limits. So he may as well back out of it. There's William. He's about to start his final attempt. Warrior Huntsman has dropped out of qualifying now. He must have picked up too much damage after that spin into the wall. There's Pimis in the Alfa Romeo. He's on a new set of tyres. Oh, that's Berry in the wall! And he's out of qualifying. So he will not go through to the final part. He is out, whatever happens. And with him in 5th place before that crash, we could well see 6 drivers out of qualifying at the end of this session. And I think we will be seeing 6 go out. Swinney's out on track. Davidos is out on circuit as well. Therese crossing over the line to start one last attempt. Carlos Killer coming towards sector 2. Is he improving? No, he's not. Half a second up from before for William. Currently in the bottom 5. He needs a much better lap time to get himself out there. He needs to find... Oh, how much time does he need to find? He needs to find at least 7 tenths, really. Just coming into the last turn. Carlos Killer out of qualifying. No improvement for him. William goes 5th. So that's a big improvement. That pushes Davidos into the drop zone and out. So Davidovic, another gone from this session. And Scenario's gone for a spin as well, so his qualifying session comes to an early close. Terades, meanwhile, can he get himself out of that? He needs to find, at the very minimum, 3/10. Rear wing open. Over the line for the Alpine pilot. And he goes 8th. That pushes Wild Dog out of qualifying. Terades getting through. 8th quickest. Scenario crossing over the line now. And that finishes off Q2. Pimis has just come back into the pits as well. So the 6 drivers we lose. Berry, because he crashed out on circuit. Wild Dog as well, along with the 2 AlphaTauris of Davidovic and Scenario. Carlos Killer in the Aston Martin and Warrior Huntsman in the McLaren. So you can see all of those listed in red. Berry's out. Wild Dog and Davidovic also eliminated. Scenario, Carlos Killer and Warrior Huntsman also joined them. 1 session to go of qualifying before the race. Who will be on pole here in Albert Park? Find out very shortly. Do not go anywhere, folks. Q3 underway. And we've got some cars heading out on circuit, including Pimis in the Alfa Romeo. 3 races this season, and Pimis is still yet to score a point. Big Bells also out there with him in the Ferrari. I think out of all the drivers on the grid for today, Big Bells is the favourite to be going for pole position. Just seen Mikey has opted out of Q3. Now, is he under a Q3 ban? I wonder. I'm just going to go and have a look. It doesn't look like he is, to be quite honest with you. Although actually, yes, Mikey's under a Q3 ban. So that explains why he's retired from the session already. So we've now got 8 cars going for pole. Liverpool fan also heading out on circuit. Raid's not heading out there just yet. He's staying put for the time being. Now, Pimis will surely want to be backing off here to give himself some room, because otherwise he's going to be caught out in the turbulent air. And he's backed off now, so he should be okay. So Big Boss into turn 1. Nice and easy so far. Braking for turn 3 on the outside. Very nice line through there. And now going through turn 4. Using some of the curve. Don't think he used any curve actually through that. He's definitely used some curve through 5. 26.9 through sector 1 for Kevin. Through turn 8, and then the chicane of 9 and 10. Now Albert Park has played host to the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. The first Formula 1 World Championship Australian Grand Prix was in Adelaide in 1985. They raced there for 11 years. And a deal was done in 93 before Formula 1 raced in Melbourne for the season opener in 1996. And with the construction going on currently, it's the first time they're making major changes to the circuit since it's hosted Formula 1 racing. Big Boss Boss over the line, 1 minute 21.8. So that's the benchmark for all the others to beat. Becco is on a lap, that's invalidated, so he'll be going again. There's William in. Oh, he's ripped off his front wing actually, as is Pimis. I don't know what on earth has happened between those two. I think they must have hit the wall somewhere by riding over the curves too much. Here's Swinney in the McLaren. Don't know if he'll go any quicker than what Big Boss Wells did earlier. Probably took a bit too much curb on the last corner. So he's crossing over the line, and it's a 1:22.2 for the McLaren, which is good enough to see him in second place out of all the 2 times they've been posted. Malios has started another lap. I think he exceeded track limits on the lap he was about to clock in. Double Fan goes for a spin. His front wing's damaged. Now, please make sure you stay out of the way, which he does so. I think Therese is on a out lap, actually, so Double Fan will just want to get back to the pits as soon as he can. Big Boss Wells coming in as well. Becco in the Alpine will want to get this lap on the board. Only 2 drivers have posted times so far. Make that 3. Becco goes third with a 1:22.5. So far it's Big Boss Bells fastest with Swinney second and Becco third. And that's the Red Bull of Milios hitting the barrier on the exit of turn number 10. Terades on a fast lap. He's on the medium compound actually, Terades. I think he's only got 1 set of soft tyres that he could use. Fresh ones, that is. So this is a chance for him to just get some mileage on this medium tyre and build forward. 49.9 actually by sector 2, which is fairly decent on that compound. Well, he missed his braking point there, and his execution through 13 wasn't great. Cautious through 15. Through 16. And it's a 1:23.6, which is good enough to put him up to 4th place. Pimis is back out on circuit on another set of the softs. So he's hoping to remain there. Well, get a lap time on the board, I should say. So Pimis begins a lap now in the Alfa Romeo. Opens the DRS before he gets to turn 3. The rear wing closes. Pimis has shown some promising pace so far in this qualifying session, better than what we've seen from him in previous rounds. 26.9 through sector 1. That's a very good start. Stays to the inside, taking the shortest route possible through turn 8, over the curve through 9, Not too much curve through 10. Now this is going to be the trickiest part of the lap, turns 11 and 12. He's rather cautiously there. He just wants to make sure he does not lose the car through there. I don't blame him, to be quite honest with you. Third curve there through 13. 14. Perfectly fine. 15 turns in quite early. Perfect through 16. Very nicely done. He's coming over the line now. And it's a 1:21.8. He just misses out on pole by less than a tenth of a second. That's a very, very encouraging time. Now, with the amount of fuel he's got left, is he going to go for another flying lap, I wonder? We'll stay with him because he's still the only driver on a flying lap. There's Big Bob Wells just staying out of the way. And no, Plymouth has exceeded track limits through turn 5, so we may as well come away from him on that occasion. So Liverpool fan in the other Alfa Romeo. Done well to get into Q3. He had a disappointing time at Silverstone a couple of weeks back, and last week in Baku saw him cross the line in 10th place. I didn't see whether he moved up any positions. He may have done because of some post-race time penalties for others, but I don't have any information as to what the race results were after penalties by the stewards. So Liverpool fan went through sector 1 with a 27.1. He just wants to get a time on the board, to be quite honest with you. Ideally wants to be in the low 1 minute 22s. 49.8 by sector 2. His line through turn 12 wasn't the greatest, if I'm honest with you. He's coming up behind one of the Ferraris now. That'll be William. He'll be about to start his final attempt. Becco not going back out on circuit again. So 4-4 lower is where he'll end up. 1 minute 22.8 for Liverpool fan, only good enough for 5th. Now, who is on a flying lap? Well, Big Boss Bells is at the moment. Nearly 3 tenths up by sector 2. Looking good for pole here in Melbourne. Dixon took pole position in the previous 3 rounds this season. But he's most certainly not going to be taking it here. Big Boss Bells has extended the margin with a 1 minute 21.4. Teraids' lap has been invalidated, so he'll need to go again. Milio's in the Red Bull, looking to get his first lap time put on there. Rear wing open with 15 seconds to go. It's a 1:28 and he goes to the front row. William has yet to post a time. The checker flag is out now, so those on a fast lap can complete it. Pemis not on any improvement, so 3rd or lower is where he'll end up. William displaces him, so he goes 3rd. Liverpool fan over the line, stays 7th quickest. Swinney goes 5th for 1:21.9, so a number of drivers in the 1 minute 21s actually, which is very good. Teraids, the last driver who could potentially deprive Big Boss Bells of pole position. I doubt he's going to do that though, to be quite honest. Can he maybe sneak onto the front row? With the amount of time he's finding so far, he could well do. He's a long way off from where he needs to be, so his line through 16 wasn't great. Over the line now, it's a 1:22.3, goes 6th. So Big Boss Bells is on pole position for the Australian Grand Prix in Tier 1 in the FRL. Malios will join him alongside less than 4 tenths behind the Ferrari driver. William and Pimis will line up 3rd and 4th. Swinney and Terades on row 3. Becco and Nuppelfan on row 4. Mikey will start 9th ahead of Jack Berry, who crashed out at the end of Q2. He'll start 10th. Qualifying is over. The 29-lap race will begin, but not only will it be a race, it's a wet one as well. So it could be anyone taking the spoils here down under. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the race very, very shortly. Ready to go for the formation up. The drivers will be starting on intermediate tyres. So a rundown on the grid then for the start of this. Big Boss Bells on pole position with Manios alongside William and Pinis on row 2. As one of the Alfa Romeo goes into the wall, that'll be Pinis, who tried to get some grip into those intermediates but couldn't do so at the start. Swinney and Terades are on row 3, followed by Becco and the full fan on the 4th row. Mikey and Berry round out the top 10. Wild Dog and Devidosh make up row 6, ahead of Scenario and Colours Killer on the 7th row. Warrior Huntsman and Jack make up row 8, and at the back we've got Stuff Dart and Dan Murphy, who never made it out of the pits, or didn't go out for qualifying at all. So we could be in for an intriguing Australian Grand Prix, different to how we perhaps anticipated it to be. Will it be intermediates all the way, or could we maybe see the dry tyres being used later on, or even full wets? Answers on a postcard. So the field are coming towards the end of the formation lap. 29 laps it will be. I think we will see some safety cars, if not more than one, if not any at all. Big Boss Wells will just want to focus on the lights, pull away, and keep out of everyone's battles behind, which could end up getting messy. The Alpines are slotted into position as well. Pimis should be slotted into his 4th place grid slot. All the others are into position now, more or less. We'll just wait for Pimis to slot in, and we are ready to go. Round 4 in Tier 1 in the Formula Racing League. Can Big Boss Bowers close in on Dixon in the title race? The 5 red lights in Pia in front of the drivers. It's lights out, and away we go. Big Boss Bowers gets off to a very good start. Mullio's likewise, but look at William alongside in the 2nd Ferrari. Big Boss Bowers will stay in front of the cars behind as he goes through Turn 1 and Turn 2 ahead. We've got William in 2nd place ahead of Mullio, so Ferrari 1 and 2 coming out to Turn 2. Swinney's gone backwards in the McLaren though. He's lost a lot of ground there. I wonder if his pits are damaged. William hits the back of his teammate and causes carnage behind. Mullio's will surely have picked up front wing damage from that as well in the Red Bull. He's back into 2nd place, but William's still in there. Goes onto the grass, and Therese gets through to 3rd place in the Alpine. So, I wonder if William did tap the back of his teammate, and then almost spun it in front of the whole field. Warrior Huntsman off in the McLaren there. I'm just looking to see if Swinney may have damage to his car. It might be okay actually, but both McLarens are at the back of the field. So Big Boss Wells staying in front, Mullio's in 2nd place. Terade 3rd, William 4th. The Liverpool fan in 5th place. Pimis in 6th. He lost 2 positions at the start, did Pimis, from his starting position. Becco 7th, Scenario 8th, and it's the 2 Mercedes of Mikey and Wild Dog running out the top 10 as we speak. And one driver who's not made a good start either is Jack Berry. He started the race 10th on the grid and has fallen down to 15th place. Lap 1 completed then. Just look to see who is making up ground. Well, Jack DNF is in the pits for Williams. He's clearly got some damage. Warrior Huntsman also entering the pit lane. Both drivers will have a lot of work to do from here on in. And we saw in a Tier 2 race in Imola this season where the drivers basically went through the whole race without pitting, apart from those who needed to be coming in for repairs. Could we see that here? Well, Pimis is just going in front of Liverpool fan for 5th place. Becco and Scenario looming behind. There's Dan Murphy passing Davidos for 12th position. And Warrior Huntsman's gone for a spin. That turn saber has continued. Safdar also getting by the AlphaTauri into 13th place. So we expect to see Murphy and Safdar carving their way through the field as the race progresses. And Big Boss Wells with a new faster start now. 1:35.1. Liverpool fan trying to get back through on Pimis into turn 1. Liverpool fan backs out of it, and wisely so. Then Murphy getting ahead of his teammate, Carlos Killer. So Murphy, who had gone into the round 3rd in the championship, which has included a 2nd place finish in Baku last time out. He had a nightmare of a race at Imola. And came through from the back to finish in 4th position at Silverstone. It's been a fairly decent start to the season for him. Here's to race behind Malios in the Red Bull. And Big Boss Wells' lead is over 3 seconds now. Warrior Huntsman in the pits again, and he's out of the race. So another race without points for him, unfortunately. Carlos Killer with the first time penalty of the race as well. Terrain's running wide there at turn 15. Scenario behind Becco in the battle over P7. There's Wild Dog under threat here from Dan Murphy, has caught up to him. We're now on lap 4 of the race. Wild Dog, the next to be penalised. Pemis caught the curve there and nearly dropped it into the barrier. There's Jack Berry running in 15th place. Raids running in 3rd position. Safdar gets past Carlos Killer now for 12th. Scenario also penalised for track limits. Murphy looking to make a move on Wild Dog as Pimis gets past William now for 5th place. And Liverpool fan following suit, so William losing 2 positions there in a space of a couple of corners. So Safdar behind Murphy. As the field filter their way through. Pimis is in 4th position, 3 seconds behind to Raids ahead. Wild Dog getting another time penalty for track limits. That's his 2nd one of the race. That takes his penalty to 6. Scenario running in 8th position behind Becco. Now it's Alfa Romeo's running in 4th and 5th places. Novel Fun nearly dropping it there though. Scenario behind Becco. And the DRS is disabled because of the conditions, which will make overtaking harder to do. Well, maybe not so for Murphy, because he's just got by Wild Dog for 10th place. So it can be done. Oh, Safdar nearly dropping it as well and catching it in time. I've just noticed that some of the drivers are tight on fuel as well. And Pimis has gone off. He's gone for a spin on the exit of turn 4. He was running in 4th place, and he's dropped well down the order, and he's got front wing damage. That's a big shame there for Pimis. Now needs to watch for Jack Berry behind as well, who will go past him easily. Scenario gets past Becco as well for 6th place, although he's just gone off the circuit. Mikey's got through. And he should go past Becco as well here. The two nearly banging wheels. Becco leaves him enough room. And Becco gets penalised for track limits as well. Murphy up to 9th now. Chasing after his next target, which is Scenario, who had lost the position to Becco and, of course, to Mikey. Big Boss Bells with a new fastest lap of the race. He's got pole position and he's got fastest lap. Should he win as well, he'll be leading the championship by 1 point over Dixon. Oh, and that's Mikey who's nearly dropping it on the pit straight. And he's lost 2 positions as a result of that to Becco and Scenario. Now Scenario and Becco bang wheels. They want to keep it clean. And Dan Murphy looks like he's going to make a move on the pair of them, it seems. He's got through on Becco. Can he get through on Mikey as well? The answer is no. Mikey runs him out wide. Murphy won't like that one bit. Becco takes to the curbs. And Murphy will be looking to find another way through. Really is hotting up behind. Murphy to the outside into turn 9. Can he do it through there? Becco makes contact still with the Aston Martin. And Murphy's through. 8th place goes to Dan Murphy in the Aston Martin from the back of the grid. Softar running in 11th position ahead of Carlos Killer and Davidosh. Scenario running in 6th place still. There's William in 5th. We're now on lap 8 out of 29. Softar looking to get in front of Wild Dog into turn 1. Will he do it there? The answer is no. He waits behind. Buzzballs extending the margin now. 6 seconds it is over 2nd place Malios, who's fending off from Terrades in the Alpine. Terrades looking very good actually in the conditions, and Malios has been conserving his ERS. I don't know if that's because he's tight on fuel, and the thing is when he does use the ERS he's burning off more fuel. And Liverpool fan with a time penalty now for track limits. Running in 4th position. Wild Dog picks up his 3rd time penalty of the race now. 9 seconds he is on. And it's just gone from bad to worse for him from that. Triple spells. 1 minute 34.6. New fastest lap of the race. Terrades is now behind Marios in the fight for 2nd. Softar overtakes Wild Dog in the battle for 10th. Murphy closing in on Mikey. Scenario in 6th position behind William. Riding over the curves. Pimis picks up a time penalty for track limits now. It looks like he might be entering the pit lane, or has he carried on? I think he's carried on actually. Scenario missing his braking point there, nearly hitting the back of William. Carlos Killer passing Wild Dog. Mikey now with a time penalty for track limits. He cannot keep his car on the racetrack. So Murphy behind Mikey. He looks to make a move on Scenario ahead. Swinney moving ahead of Berry for 14th place. So Murphy behind Mikey, tossing over 7th position. You can see the gap between Big Boswells and Malios has increased to 8.6 seconds. I like to think there's going to be some pit stops happening during this race. Oh, and that's Carlos Killer spinning. He's lost time and places to do that, so that's an unfortunate error for him. And Williams also spun round for Ferrari. He's also spun. So he's fallen down. I think Davido's just going to go past him. Swinney's going to go past him, I think, as well. Unless William decides to fight back, which he doesn't do. So William, who was running in 5th place, has dropped down to 13th position. It's been another race to forget for him. He had that spin at Imola that cost him a podium, crashing out at Silverstone. And looks like Pimis has had yet another spin in the Alfa Romeo and his front wing's damaged. Now, the drivers don't have to make a pit stop in intermediates. Well, when it's a wet race. They could just go to the end if they wanted to, but that's probably asking for too much. Williams back ahead of Davido's for 12th. That's very close in behind. And Safdar is the first to make a scheduled pit stop. I believe it's scheduled. He will fall behind Carlos Killer and Jack DNF. He'll at least have some clear track ahead of him when he rejoins. So this is an opportunity for him to complete an undercut on those ahead. Becco with a time penalty for track limits. Big Bells coming towards the end of his 12th lap. Looking very, very strong. It's not over yet as Pimis comes into the pits for Alfa Romeo. Now, is he going to decide to carry on, or is he calling it a day? Malios now with a time penalty for track limits. That's bad news for him. As it stands, he would lose his second place to Terades. So Pimis down a lap now on the leaders. There's his teammate going past, putting a lap on him. So it's just all gone wrong for Pimis in this race. It really, really has. Davidovic in the pits for AlphaTauri. Big Boss Bell's lead is 9.3 seconds over Malios in second place. Terades third. There's Liverpool Fun trying to keep up with Terades ahead. And Jack DNF getting a penalty for track limits now. Big Boss Bells with a time penalty for track limits. Oh no, so not with a penalty. That's his fastest lap. I was just looking at, by the way, the caption came up there. In actual fact, it's a new fastest lap, so apologies for my mistake. Wild Dog now ahead of Becco for 8th position. As Swinney looks to make an effort to get in front. Becco runs wide there, and I think he's ducking into the pits actually. So that's that battle concluded. Now, where will Becco rejoin? Can he get the car slowed down? Yes, he can. There's a new front wing ready for him, actually. Cross Killer also in. Soft on now with a new fastest lap. So that's the difference of having brand new tyres put on. Softar is making the most of it. He's stuck behind his teammate though. Which I don't think will help. Someone's gone off in sector 2. Who is that? Is that Pimis who's gone for a spin? Yes, it is. And Big Boss Wells comes in for his only stop of the race at the end of lap 14. And Pimis has retired from the race as he crashed out. I think he has. And it's the safety car's been deployed. So the safety car is out. So that will see the field bunch right back up together. That's good news for all those. It's bad news for Softar actually. Big Boss Wells is rejoined in the lead. Malios rejoins in second, race third, Liverpool Fun fourth. And Softar's going to miss out horribly here. And Davidovic gets a drive-through penalty for exceeding the delta under the safety car, so he'll have to take that after the safety car's gone back in. He cannot take that during it. He's got to be careful not to get another one. So we've got 16 drivers remaining in this race. Nicholas Bells leads. Malios in second, who has a penalty of 3. Liverpool Fan also has 3 seconds. Mikey as well. So you have to say Dan Murphy's going to benefit from this as it stands. At least for Softar, he's running in 8th place. He will catch up to the back, to the front runners, and have a go of actually closing in on the podium. And looks like Berry's car is controlled by the AI at the moment, but it doesn't look like he is now, so he can't overtake him. Now, who has not pitted yet in this race? Let's have a look. I think everyone has pitted now, so it's just going to be a sprint to the end. The safety car will remain out there for one more lap. Course Killer into the pits. And it looks like he's going to put another set of intermediates on. Suppose he hasn't got anything to lose by putting another set of intermediates on that Aston Martin. The Big Boss Bell's trying to generate some temperature into those intermediates. So here's your top 10 behind the safety car. Big Boss Bells leads, Milo second. Then it's Therese, Liverpool Fan and Scenario running in 5th place on track. Mikey is 6th ahead of Dan Murphy and Safdar, 2 of which who started at the back of the grid. Swinning is 9th, despite that spin he had on that one. Wild Dog in 10th with a 9-second time penalty. Course Killer hasn't caught up to the back of the field yet, but I think the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap. Just wait for confirmation from race control. Or will it go round for one more lap? It's coming in this lap. So, Big Boss Bells will dictate the pace and he'll go when he's ready to do so. He effectively becomes the safety car at this point. This race is about to get back underway. And Big Boss Bells is away. He leads with 13 laps remaining here in Australia. Is anyone making a move behind? There is Davidos trying to get in front of Jack Berry for 12th place. Remember, Davidos has got to come in for his drive-through penalty later on, but he's spun into the wall! So it's too much curb. I'm actually surprised he didn't come into the pits to take that drive-through penalty, which is what he should have done. So there's Murphy running in P7. Safdar behind, waiting to pounce. Liverpool Fan with his second time penalty of the race. And the yellow flag will be for Davidos, who's just trailing around in the AlphaTauri without a front wing on. There's Murphy. in 7th position as William gets past Wild Dog for 10th position into turn 1. Wild Dog is still there though, but William wins out on that occasion. There's Becco, Jack and Cole's Killer fighting over 13th place. Jack on the inside, he gets through. Cole's Killer round the outside, and he gets through as well. So Becco drops down to 15th place. And Davido's penalised for speeding in the pits. I think he's going to call it a day, to be honest with you, with him so far behind. And he is out of the race. And Big Boss Bell's nearly dropping it coming out of turn 10. That's going to allow Malios and Terades to close back in. Murphy now ahead of Mikey for 6th place. And Liverpool fan as well. So he's through. Mikey's got Safdar behind. So Murphy fighting his way through the field like a demon. Scenario is next. So Murphy on a charge now. Scenario running wide there at turn 15. That's going to allow Murphy to close in even more. He doesn't go for it into turn 1. He doesn't need to. Now Safdar want to get a move on here actually, but he makes a mistake coming out there, and Swinney's going to go past him. So Swinney passes Safdar for 8th place. So Murphy desperate to get in front of Scenario. As it stands, Scenario will be losing 4 positions. It's been another breathtaking drive from Murphy. Could get even better. Swinney passes Mikey for P7. So Swinney fights his way through the field very, very nicely now. He's very much coming on form today. Mikey gets a time penalty for track limits. That's his 2nd one. William ahead of Wild Dog, and Safdar now ahead of Mikey. Mikey trying to fight back though. He thought about going for it at turn 14, but thought better of it. Berry ahead of Jack. Oh, that's William in the wall. William has ripped off his front wing. He goes to the back of the field, and the virtual safety car has been deployed because of the leftover debris. I don't expect that to change too much. But William's going to have to go through a whole lap without a nose cone. So on lap 20, 10 laps remaining. Because Wells can't go too quick. So we're just waiting for the VSC to end. And we're back on the way, and a drive-through penalty now for Safdar. Would you believe it? He's gone too quickly under the VSC, and he's being penalised for it. So that's his chances of a decent result out of the window now, unless we do get a safety car later on. Yeah, he's coming into the pits. He may as well get it done and out of the way. So Safdar entering the pit lane. Fall way down the order. There's William trailing in. There's Murphy running in 5th position. So William entering the pit lane. And I wonder if this is going to be the end of his race, unless he decides to carry on. I mean, if he carries on and finishes 15th, he would still get a championship point. So Murphy, eager to get that 4th place off Scenario. Swinney now with his first time penalty of the race for track limits. Murphy on the inside of Scenario. Trying to do all he can to get in front. There's just no way through. Jack DNF with a penalty also for track limits. It's his second one of this race. Liverpool fan also behind Murphy. Murphy needs to get this moved on here as soon as he can. And there's an instant sector 1. There's Milos. So Milos from 2nd place has gone for a spin. And he's the next to fall down the order. So from 2nd to 8th, he has fallen down. That moves Scenario to 3rd. Teray's now up to 2nd. Mikey gets another penalty for track limits. So as it stands, Murphy's on course for a podium once the penalties have been applied. So Malios throws a podium finish all the way by spinning at turn 2. And Scenario making the mistake, and that allows Murphy through surely now. Murphy takes advantage and is passed. So Murphy is into 3rd place and on course for a podium. Now, can he pull away? As Liverpool fan gets another penalty for track limits, as does Wild Dog. There's Berry in 11th place. He's one of the few drivers out there not to have a penalty at all. If he keeps it that way, he could move up a handful of positions. He ideally needs to get past some drivers, though, to make that happen. Swinney looking to get past Liverpool fan. He has got the inside line for turn 1. Can he be brave on the brakes? The answer is no. And Mikey is closing back in on him. William with a time penalty for track limits. He's just going for the fastest lap now, I think. Although he won't get that point if he gets it. So Big Boss Bells on course for victory. His first of the season. Raid's on course for his best result in the Formula Racing League in P2. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, going into today, he's only been called in as a reserve for tonight, as far as I'm aware, unless I'm mistaken. No, he is a full-time driver, but he only had 4 points coming into this race, and now he's about to add 32 to it. So he's about to multiply his points total by 9, which is rather remarkable. Murphy closing in 3rd place. Could be an important result for Murphy, as Softar posts a new fastest lap. He's running in 14th now. So Big Boss Bells, as it stands, would be level on points with Dixon, but on countback, the Williams driver would still be ahead because he's won more races. Terades now with a penalty. That's good news for Murphy. So Terades' second place is very much under threat. He'll still be on the podium, but not in the position he wanted to have done originally. Murphy doesn't need to be taking too many risks now. One and a half seconds is the gap between those two. Soft Dart with a penalty for track limits, and someone's gone off in sector 1, and that's William in the Ferrari. The virtual safety car's been deployed. He's ripped off his front wing again. And Mike is into the pits. Now that's interesting. I'm actually surprised he's decided to do that. And what is he going for it? He's going for slicks. Now, is the conditions changing, I wonder? My nose is coming in for slicks as well. Now this could be pivotal. This could really, really be pivotal. Carlos Killer doing the same. He's taking the gamble. But the thing is, the rain is still coming down, so how can slick tyres be the tyres to be on? Now the virtual safety car is still deployed, so still need to stick to the delta that is active. Because Bars has got a good enough cushion at the moment, so he doesn't need to be coming into the pits or anything like that. Well, the amount of raindrops that are coming down are very, very little now. But the track is still damp. Oh, and that's bad news for Jack Berry. A drive-through penalty for exceeding the virtual safety car delta at the end. And he's going to fall way down the order. That's a big, big shame for him. Did everything right up until that point. And he's not going to even finish in the top 10. Swinney with a time penalty now for track limits. William into the pits. He's continuing on his way, but he's now down a lap on the race leader. Terades goes through. Murphy will go through as well. Murphy really wants that second place. Berry into the pits to take that drive-through penalty. Softar deciding to come into the pits, and now the DRS is enabled. So, who is prepared to stay out there on intermediates, and who is brave enough to come in for the slick compound tyres? Or, well, I say slick compound tyres, the soft compound tyres, but slicks either way. There's Mikey in the Mercedes with 4 laps to go, trying to gain as much ground as possible. I'll be interested to see what lap times those on the slicks are doing. I think Mike is going quicker than those on the intermediates. It's going fairly quick actually through turns 9 and 10. Yeah, he's definitely going a lot quicker. There's Swinney on the inside of Scenario. The 2 bang wheels. Still going side by side, entering turn 15. And now Terades and Murphy are in. They're going on to slicks. Swinney and Scenario staying out there. They're braving it. And Murphy getting ahead of Terades now. By the looks at it, no, Terades just staying in front for the time being. Becco staying out. Mikey with a new fastest lap on the slicks. So he's definitely on the right tyres. Now Mikey has that penalty hanging over him, so this is damage limitation time for him. He's going to be all over the back of Becco very, very shortly. Now what does Big Boss Bells decide to do? Well, to be fair, he's still posted a personal best through Sector 2. He may decide to just go to the end, although there's an incident in Sector 1. That's Jack DNF who's gone into the barrier. His teammate goes through. Bo's rejoined on the set of slicks. Now, if I was Big Boss Bells, I would consider pitting in, but the problem is, will Swinney and Scenario stay out there and go for the victory? Well, Big Boss Bells is staying out. And Manio's now ahead of Terades. So Terades has lost time somewhere, and Manio's is into 7th position. There's Mikey behind Becco. Becco holding him off for the time being. There are 2 laps remaining. Becco will feel that he may as well just carry on as he is. Mikey gets past him now with the DRS. He gets through into 4th position. Manio's with the new fastest lap of the race. Carlos Killer now with the fastest lap. The track is getting quicker. Softar now with the fastest lap. The slicks are definitely the tyres to be on. Swinney running in 2nd place, 6 seconds worth of time penalty. As it stands, he would not lose that 2nd place. Dan Murphy getting through on Becco. He goes for a spin, and Minos hits him as well, and the bow points in the wrong way. Now Becco didn't let Mikey through that easily, and Minos has had his 2nd incident of the day, and that's very unfortunate for him. That was totally not his fault whatsoever. Big Boss Bells has now started the final lap on his intermediate compound tyres. It's just taking it easy. Becco gets overtaken by Safdar. Scenario closing in on Swinney. He'll have the DRS for this straight here. No way through at the moment. And someone's gone off in Sector 3. Is that Becco who's spun round? It is. Soft over the new fastest lap as well. Could even get into the top 10 here because of Wild Dog's time penalty. So here's Big Boss Bells. He's remained out there. So Ray's getting another time penalty as well. Had it not been for the safety cars, we wouldn't have had the pit stop pandemonium towards the end. But Big Boss Bells is coming through in the Ferrari for his 1st victory of the season. And it's been a very dominant drive from him as well. Big Boss Bells exiting the last turn. And he's going to win the Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park. Big Boss Bells takes it in Tier 1 in the Formula Racing League. Now, Swinney and Scenario are fighting over P2. But I think it's going to be Dan Murphy finishing 2nd because of the time penalties. Swinney gets ahead of Scenario. So they cross over the line now. Murphy will be 2nd and gain the point for the fastest lap as it stands. So Murphy from the back of the field, 2nd place for him. Swinney 3rd for McLaren. Scenario 4th. Mikey at the moment is 5th. Terades 6th. Liverpool Fan 7th. Carlos Killer in 8th place. Safdar 9th. Melios will get in front of Wild Dog. So Melios 10th. Wild Dog will be 11th. There is Jack DNF in 12th, but he'll be overtaken by Bowie once the time penalty has been applied. So Bowie will be 12th. Jack 13th. Becco will be 14th. And William, the last of the drivers, a lap down in 15th place and getting the final championship points. But there's your race winner, Big Boss Bells, here in Australia. So the drivers celebrate on the podium. It's been a brilliant day for Big Boss Bells, who's now level on points with Dixon at the top. So here's your race result. Big Boss Bells wins with Dan Murphy in second place and getting the point for the fast start. Swinney third for McLaren. Very well done to him today. Scenario fourth ahead of Mikey in fifth. Terades sixth ahead of Liverpool fan. Carlos Killer in a fine eighth place. Safdar ninth. He'll be very disappointed with that. Manio's 10th. Wild Dog will be 11th. Berry 12th. That was a very disappointing result for him, considering he had no time penalty at all. But he picked up that drive-through towards the end for a virtual safety car infringement. Jack 13th. Becco 14th. William 15th. Davidosh, Pimis and Warrior Huntsman were the drivers that did not finish the race. So, as I've already mentioned, Dixon and Big Boss Bells tied on points at the top. Dan Murphy's second place and point for the fast start sees him close in to within 30 points of the top two. The next round of the championship will be at Paul Ricard in a week's time, so do make sure you tune in for then. Thank you for watching as well. Do make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And we hope to see you again next week for round 5 of the championship. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.